Hello and welcome to the Green Collider Masterclass. My name is Carina Posch and I'm working at the non-profit association Auxilium in Austria, who is a partner organization in the Green Collider project. Today, I will be your host with the kind assistance of my colleague. This webinar is part of the Erasmus Plus project Green Collider and its first project result, the Green Collider Masterclass. We continue our webinar series today with Module 2 of the Green Collider Masterclass, which focuses on the topic Understanding Sustainable Processes in Real-World Business Settings. The module has been developed by our project partners at the Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Slovenia. And today we have 4 experts with us who will present interesting keynotes about good practices, examples in the field of sustainable thinking and real-life business environment, how businesses can adapt for a greener and socially responsible future, sustainability in global entrepreneurship, and promoting a circular economy and sustainability. So once again, if you have any question to our keynote speakers, please write them in the chat and we'll bring them to their attention once they have finished their keynote. So let's start. Our first speaker is Dr. David Bogataj, who is a full-time professor at Alma Mater Rio Pier and head of PhD studies of social gerontology. In his job, he focuses on demographic and gerontological perspective, economic aspects of aging, development strategies of gerontological issues, and guided scientific and research work, and HR management in the field of gerontology. He also works as a research director of the Institute for Aging and Social System Studies, and is active within the field of sustainability and climate-related risks. Today, he will give us some insights into good practice examples in the field of sustainable thinking in real-life business environments. Dr. Bogataj, the floor is yours now.
Hello, good morning. Today I will present the aspects of Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can see your PowerPoint and we can see your video. Perfect, everything works great.
Can you see the changing of the slides?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
So today I will present sustainability processes in real business environment in the case of development of silver economy. So silver economy is the economy for 50+ population, and it's the third largest economy. European silver economy is the third largest economy in the world, after economy of United States and economy of China according to the GDP, and already in 2015 has reached 3.3 trillion euros, and together with the income generated for the younger than 50 years old, 4.6 trillions of euros. And this economy is the fastest growing economy in Europe. So it's projected that this economy will grow in period 2015 to 2025, 5.5% per year. So much higher growth than average growth of the European economy. So sustainability in business environment means company effort to reduce negative impact of the environment resulting from its operations and practices at all levels. This includes company strategy and practices in all organizational processes within the business ecosystem. But we should look broader, not only on the environmental issues, but also on social and economic sustainability. So what the sustainability means sustainability means that the environment will be available to use by future generations. So use of resources in current generations should not harm the use of resources or availability of resources for future generation. When we are talking about sustainability in silver economy, this means that how to enable aging society, which has increasing expenditures for healthcare, long-term care, pensions, and also huge environmental impact. How should we develop systems so the availability of long-term care, pensions, healthcare is still there when we will have growing number of older people, and the number of older people will increase in next 30 years by 50%. And of course, you understand that even today, the society has problem to cope with the provision of long-term care and healthcare and pensions to the current number of older adults. So the question is how we should measure sustainable development, social development, economic development, environmental development to achieve social sustainability, economic sustainability, and environmental sustainability. If we are talking of economic sustainability in aging society, is the major question of human resources, because European Union has started, working age population in European Union has started to decline. We are planning to import 85 million people in the next 20 years, in the next 80 years, just to achieve sustainable social system, so that we'll have enough workers to pay for contributions for pensions, for healthcare, for long-term care, for our aging population. So the question is how Green Deal, how digital transformation, and how development of age-friendly environments that are three major European agendas, how can we join these three developmental aspects, and how to one solution for the silver economy and aging societies, and how we can measure the success of our approach. So we should engage all the ecosystem actors to contribute to development of this silver economy, sustainable silver economy. An organization has the most direct and usually the greatest influence, apart from the internal publicity, on its supply chain ecosystem. There are organizations, shareholders, strategic partners, trusted suppliers, trusted vendors, investors, municipalities, regions where they work, all those whom the organizations has direct relationship. The organization can call on these partners to chain and thus directly influence their sustainability efforts. For example, by renegotiating business relations, sharing best practices, choosing sustainable products and services. So we should understand the benefits of adopting sustainable approaches in business, and these benefits are for business alone and creates business value, and also we are sustainable approaches creates positive externalities, and these externalities creating social value for the whole society as a whole, value for the social systems in in the form of lower expenditures for healthcare. If we are living in more healthy environment, then healthcare system has lower expenditures. Public healthcare system has lower expenditures for health. If we are living in more healthy environment, so more safe environment where we prevent falls, so there is a value for the healthcare system because we don't need to pay for healthcare services, healthcare hospital services and healthcare rehabilitation services, because if there is no fall, there is no need for healthcare intervention. And of course, after the fall, if we break a hip, then we need to go to nursing home for extended period of time, probably till the end of our life. This can take up to 2 to 4 years with huge expenditures, usually in large part financed by the public expenditures. So if we develop safe environment, if we prevent falls and other accidents, we create social value and of course better quality of life. So companies working for older adults, providing services, providing goods for older adults should give a lot of effort, so collective effort for the greater common good. Each individual can do their part to work and live more sustainably. Therefore, to become sustainable, a company needs to involve everyone who can contribute. So today we will look at the business case of development of social infrastructure in silver economy. This means in the package or recovery package, in recovery facility developed by European Union, which represents 50% of GDP, developed a response to COVID-related issues. So COVID found out that exposed the vulnerability of the elderly, exposed the possibilities for new economic concept and a new concept, social structure, and the outstanding role of digitalization. Currently in Slovenia, we have called for 65 million euros for social institutions to develop 850 units for older adults. So this is also bringing results for deinstitutionalization, development of community care, so building environmentally friendly housing units for older adults that can live in a community, and this can postpone or prevent moving to a nursing home. But these units should be green. That means they should take into account the condition doing no harm to the environment, and also should produce their own energy, so to achieve net zero or near zero carbon emissions. So to combine this with the development of age-friendly environment, that the model was presented by the World Health Organization and includes three domains: so built environment, social services, and social environment. Of course, we need development of human resources for service environment, development of community to achieve proper social environment, and spatial planning to achieve age-friendly housing, that includes proper transportation services for older adults and also afford housing, so specialized housing solutions for the people who don't have suitable age-friendly own home. And research has shown that between 80 and 90% of housing in Germany, 70% of housing in UK, and 60% of housing in Slovenia are not suitable for older adults with declining functional capacities due to barriers of built environments like stairs. So all these elements, housing, social participation, housing, transportation systems suitable for older adults, social environment that facilitates social participation, respect and social respect and social inclusion, facilitates civil participation and employment of older adults, and community services that include communication and information services and community support and health services. And of course, development of age-friendly outdoor spaces and buildings can bring sustainable benefits to the society and to the community. The question is, how can we measure this? So we should study different long-term care settings. So according to the World Health Organization, the physical and social environment are key factors that determine whether people can stay healthy, independent, and autonomous long into their old age. So we see here that the healthcare expenditures increase with the age. And so most of the healthcare expenditures are produced, public healthcare expenditures are produced by the 50+ population. And this will grow. So here we have a model of functional capacities, their dynamics in life cycle, and sooner or later, the person, if he or she lives long enough, reach a disability threshold. So disability threshold is where your living environment becomes dangerous for you. Therefore, you need to adapt environment or adapt family home or move to specialized housing solutions such as sheltered housing or housing with care. Otherwise, there is big risk of accident, of unwanted events, and after this you go, usually accident happens, you go to hospital and then to a nursing home. So we need to adapt environment to prevent, to prolong living in the society, in the community, and prevent institutionalization and moving to a nursing home. So these are of dependent people on the help of others in European Union. We see that older the persons are,
Sorry, your mic is off, David. I cannot hear you.
Sorry. So we have different types of people, older adults, they can be active older adults, then dependent persons, users of institutional care, users of home care, and beneficiaries of cash benefits. According to aging report, we see that the number of dependent people will grow, and in some countries will reach even will double in next 50 years. So here we see people living older adults living independently in Slovenia. So we can see that a lot of Slovenia is a very rural area. A lot of people lives very far away from healthcare centers, from hospitals, from nursing homes. So how can we develop services for them to be able to live in their communities, in their homes? So there we can use digital solutions for 24/7 monitoring of older adults, with wearable devices, with video sensors, connected with the assistance centers and emergency room. So how can we measure this? So we can measure how people move through different care settings, from home, family home, to shelter home, assisted housing with care, nursing home, and then death. This graph presents the possible transitions between care settings. So the research presented by Claudio Wood found that likelihood of falling in campus or shelter housing is half the likelihood of falling in family neighborhoods. So development of shelter housing and subsidizing living in shelter housing can decrease the hospitalization needs for hospitalizations, needs for long-term care, and prolonged living in a community. She did a research in National Health System of UK. So National Health System saves £500 million per year due to people living in shelter homes, in shelter housing. In UK, 500,000 people lives in specialized social housing, specially built for older adults with declining functional capacity. Other actuarial studies done by Case Business School has shown that people in retirement villages were living almost 5 years longer than in normal family neighborhood, because of the fact that social structure of the retirement village is people live in age-friendly environment without barriers, and they have social activities all the day. So this prevents social exclusion, and this combination of social environment and safe built environment and activities can prolong life expectancy for 5 years. We then developed the model how to value this. We use actuarial present value. I'm now late, so I will just go through. You can then look at the slides and the papers that we wrote. So long-term care settings and care environment, we have actuarial present value of expenditure for healthcare or long-term care dependent on the built environment. So this is the transition matrix and the model where we have just home care and nursing home, and we don't have shelter housing and housing with care. And this is the system of housing with shelter housing and care. This is the mathematical notation, the mathematical model for probability that person will survive to the time t. These are the data from Slovenian Healthcare Institute, and these are simulations how it would improve if we would have housing with care and shelter housing included in our long-term care system, which is currently not the case. This is actuarial notation, actuarial present value model. So we can see the savings are different for men and for women because women are living longer. This is the numerical example of the calculation. And here we also can calculate the required human resources needed to care for the aging population in different care settings. So the model considers only two structures of housing stock, which includes different structure of available housing types, which are currently not present in many European countries. Further research is needed to calibrate and detail both the SS1 housing stock group and SS2 housing stock group, which includes specialist housing solutions for the elderly care, and also include the environmental aspects of green housing, green social infrastructure. So the presentation includes the result also of the research projects financed by Slovenian Research Agency. This is creating social value through the age-friendly management of housing stock in lifetime neighborhoods and hierarchical design and financing of social infrastructure for smart silver villages. And if I can say, our work is not only theoretical work, but due to cooperation with municipality of Krško, based on our research result, municipality of Krško has already bought the land to develop first smart silver village in Europe that will house approximately that will have capacity of 200 units for different care settings for aging population in Posavje statistical region. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Mr. Bogataj. Are there any questions from the chat? Just give you a few moments. Leo, do we have any questions from the chat?
No, we don't have any at the moment, maybe later.
Okay, so if any further questions come up, please feel free to continue to write them in the chat and we will have a chance later on to answer them as well. So
thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Dr. Bogataj, for your presentation. We will now continue with our second keynote. I'm very happy to introduce Mr. Aleš Kušlan, who is the director of the Equilib Institute, a non-profit and independent organization that works in the fields of social responsibility, human rights, and development cooperation. In his work, he focuses on the importance of human rights for greater effectiveness of development cooperation, increasing the level of social responsibility of all stakeholders in society and researching the changes that rights make in the lives of excluded individuals. As a social scientist, he always has the aspect of the individual as well as the organization and society at the larger scale in mind. Balancing all three aspects is both a business and a personal challenge. Currently, he is working on various projects in the fields of social responsibility and sustainability, and today he will tell us more about how businesses can adapt for a greener and socially responsible future. Mr. Kušlan, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for introduction. Hello, everybody. I will also share my screen. I hope it works. Okay. Let's see from the beginning. Yes, I can assume that you can see my screen now. Okay. Yes, today I will speak a bit how to implement corporate social responsibility, or sustainable business in practice in the companies. And as you heard in a lovely introduction of mine, we are working mainly in the field of CSR with the companies. For this purpose, we developed 2 certificates. First certificate was developed in 2004 to 2007, and it's called Family Friendly Enterprise. It's about work-life balance of employees in the companies. And the second certificate was developed just recently in years 2020, 2022. And it's called Socially Responsible Employer, and I will talk more about it in my presentation. But let me first, as you heard, I'm working in the field of social science or sociology, and we all have how to say this, try to combine this broader look or broader picture with more detailed picture what is happening in society. So I will go for the broader picture now. You can see what is sustainable development and what are the challenges of sustainable development nowadays. And you can see all these challenges right here on the front pages of Economist and other pictures. And these are actually the challenges we are facing today, from the as my previous speaker talked, from the aging population, which is aging not in the world in the same way everywhere in the world, but on the so-called Western world is aging more quicker than, for example, in Asia or in Africa. And there is the challenge of the food supply, of the water, of the migrations, of the questions of justice, of inequality, of course, of environment. And last 2 years there was challenge of COVID. Now is also challenge of war and so on. So these challenges, as we see, some stays the same and some of the challenges are changing. But the main reason for all these challenges is this: the growth in population and consumption is placing visible stress on access to natural resources, and human demands are much bigger of our society than Earth resources. And we can see this very clearly in the concept of, concept of Earth Overshoot Day. That means on which day in each year we already use all the renewable resources, and we are starting using the non-renewable resources, or we are, how to say, making the debt to future generation concerning resources. And you can see in 2022, it was 28th of July. And you can see how this date changes, you know, from 1971, you know, it was in late December, and then down to 2022 already in July. And if we needed in 50 years ago just one Earth and a little more than one Earth. Now we already need, or we will need 1.75 Earths, almost 2 Earths, to supply all demands of society due to natural resources. And of course, if we look where is this date on the different countries, then we'll see a big difference in development. And I don't know from which country you are all, but I know you are for Austria, and you can see Austria will reach this day in April 6, and Slovenia is not much better. It will reach this day in April 18. So we will use our resources already, renewable resources already in April 18. And of course, the biggest consumptionists are Qatar and Luxembourg. They will use their resources already in February 10. And you can see on this part on the right part till the May are mainly the so-called developed countries, and then go down to the countries, development countries, and you can see the poorest countries like Jamaica, Ecuador, Indonesia, Cuba, Iraq, and so on. They will use their resources already in November or even in December. This tells us that the responsibility or responsibility for sustainable development is not equally distributed. And we can see clearly on this fact who is more responsible and who is less responsible. And this social responsibility, and just make one remark that we are clear what means sustainable development and sustainable, and what is social responsibility. And I will show in this state, in this picture of the levels of social responsibility. On the world level, we have this concept of sustainable development. It was agreed in the United Nations, and also the United Nations is running some of the biggest, how to say, processes in this field. For example, Global Climate Forum is the World Forum. And sustainable development means that we reduce as a society impact on environment and society, in that case that the future generation will have the same or bigger quality of life that we have in the moment, not lower, but let's say bigger quality of life. And social responsibility contribute to this sustainable development. So it is responsible, and we can see from individual, corporate, local, regional, state, continent level to contribute to the world as the whole. And this is very important, and also ISO standard, global standard for social responsibility, ISO 26000 is talking about this, that we are all connected, and sustainable development depends on all these levels and affects all these levels, but at the same time, all these levels also, how to say, influence all the levels behind. And today I will talk a bit on this level, corporate level. What is happening on the corporate level, and how can companies contribute through their social responsibility or through their sustainable business to sustainable development of the mankind. And this is, and in recent years there was a concept, really good concept developed. How can companies contribute? And it's called sustainable development goals, which are goals on the global level. And one of the important task or concept of these goals is how can business contribute to reach these goals. Yes, and why implementing sustainable business, for example, at all? One thing is profitability and competitiveness, and this is the one reason that the management likes to hear. You know, yes, if you are more sustainable, you are more profitable. And they said, oh yes, this is good. Okay, let's be sustainable, that we will make more profit. So everybody likes to hear this, but the picture is not so simple. And so it means doing the right things right. And from my opinion, we have a problem here, and we will have problem. Problem will be if we really want to be sustainable, then the profitability has to be shared. It's not possible, and we see now that if we are going for the maximizing profit for the owners and be sustainable, because it's impossible. We have to share the profitability through all the value chain. We have to share profitability with environment, with animals, with people, with elderly people, as we saw, with the young people. So the profit cannot simply goes only to the owners. And we see this, what is happening at the moment, because some of the owners are so rich. I mean, they have literally thousands to billions of dollars, of euro, and it just, this inequality is just too big, and that tells us one thing, that profit, it's not shared in sustainable way. Okay, but let's leave it this at the moment. And the next thing is, why sustainable business? This is the method of internal integration, connection, increasing capacity of energy, positive targets in turbulent times, because people nowadays, employers, want to work in the companies with the purpose. They want to, especially young people, they want to contribute to the better world. They want to contribute to sustainable development also through their work. And that's why they want to work in the companies that are really sustainable. And if we see this risk, what is the risk? How the business see or assess the risk through the risk management? And let's look in report in 2016, the Global Risk Report. What are the major risks they saw? Migrations, failure in climate change, water crisis, and let's see what is in 2021 infection disease. In 2016, nobody talks about infection disease. In 2021, everybody talks about infection disease. We can so. And let's see what are the risks, how they see the risk in 2023. Where is the COVID? Almost nowhere. Down there, you can see it, continued waves of COVID. So nobody talks about COVID 2 years now, 2 years after. But we are all talking about an energy supply crisis, cost of living crisis, rising of inflation, food supply crisis, and so on. And there is no environment, almost no environment near. So you can see our assessment of risk is changing all the time, and you can see what are the top risks for the top management of the companies for in the period of the next 2 years and next 10 years. Next 2 years, cost of living crisis. Okay, and geo-economical confrontation. Okay, this comes up just in the sudden, and of course, environment, extreme weather events, failure to mitigate climate change, and in 10 years, this social risk goes down, 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 and environment risks come up. And my personal opinion is because it's in one way easier to deal with environment risks because they are not all in our hands, and this is very big team, and we have to work as a whole planet, and we can see this is very difficult, and this is the safe place. Okay, yes, environment, we have to do about environment, but if we fail, okay, it's not because of us, it's because of neighbor, it's because of Africa, because of Asia, and so on, and because of China, because of USA, they don't want to cut their emissions, so it's not our problem. But when we are talking about cost of living and erosion of social cohesion and social society polarization, okay, maybe we do something if we share the profit in more sustainable or more fair way. And we really don't want to talk a lot of this if we are top management with the earnings of $1 billion or more a year. So as you can see, these doors are changing all the time. The risks are different, and we are in the now in the period that the changes are so fast that we cannot manage the changes. It's impossible to manage the changes. So that's important that we concentrate on the solid foundation that we can face the changes, and the social responsibility and sustainable business is one of the greatest foundation for that. And just one also clarification: CSR, corporate social responsibility, is not how to spend the money. Social responsibility is how to earn the money. So we should never mix corporate social responsibility with corporate philanthropy. Philanthropy is fine. It's fine that business is giving to society something, but important is how the money is earned. And this again came as this concept, as I talked earlier, about the maximization of the profit. If the profit is fairly and sustainable shared during the earning phase, then if that will be the case, that then we wouldn't face so much risks and problems and as we do now. So and I'm coming in the now to the our certificate social responsible employer, and our main slogan was, and there are two main slogans. One was when we started, social responsibility, work takes work. So social, and the second one, social responsibility are action, not just words. And this is very important because just talking about how nice it is to be social responsible is really, really not enough. And social responsibility should not be PR, but it should be hard work. And our certificate, main aim of our certificate is this: how to introduce social responsibility in companies through actions. We started with this project in February 2020, just before COVID kicked off, and as you know, the Slovenia market is not very big. We are 2 million people, so we are a bit afraid because we have to reach with our certificate at least 200 companies, and we succeeded 2 years after and at the moment. And this is why I think this is a good example. This social responsibilities are actions. At the moment, we have 156 companies that which are implementing altogether more than 4,800 social responsible measures through this certificate. And this is, I think, the added value of this certificate, and also of the certificate family-friendly enterprise, which are the same system the companies has to implement some measures if they want to have the certificate. So the certificate is based on the ISO 26000 social responsibility standard, and is the first certificate based on international standard in the field of social responsibility, with emphasis towards employees. And you will see that there are 4 pillars, and 3 of the pillars are really focusing on employees. And it's also a tool to support the strategic management in this area. And I think this is very important, that in one way we are auditing and also consulting analytic. It's audit and also consulting analytic procedure. So there are 4 areas, pillars. First is organizational management, and here we have all the we have also environment and strategy of the company. And then we have 3 more concrete pillars focusing on employees, because we think this is very important. Work-life balance, intergenerational cooperation. We heard the speaker before me, Mr. Bogataj, who talked about elderly people and the problem of falling when they are old, and but falling, where they are falling, a problem with falling is there is a lack of flexibility, lack of balance, and lack of strength. And safety and health of the workplace is tackle exactly this. What can company do for people, employees, during their working period till 65 or it will be 67, maybe in the future 70 years, what they can do there, they stay healthy, they have good flexibility, balance, straighten muscles. So after, when they will be 80, 90, there will be less possibility if they fall that they break the leg or hip or something. So and this the second pillar, sorry, it's about intergenerational cooperation, which is very important, and we can see that generations now we are working 4 or 5 generations at the same time. Before there were 2, maybe 3 generations. Now there are 4 generations, and in the moment there will be 5. There will be not just father or mother and daughter are working, you know, but there will be the grandfather and grandmother and grandchild and maybe grandchild and parents will working together. So 3 or 4 generations now are working together, and this is a big challenge in how to manage these teams and working process in Hindustan. So and I'm reaching the end of my presentation, so I will just go through. This certificate goes in two levels. First, obtaining entry certificates, and then you can obtaining advanced certificates. But to enter the certificates, you have to you have to implement 12 mandatory measures plus 6 mandatory supportive activities, and then from each pillar, depending in which level you go, at least 9 measures in each pillar. So you can see, if you want to get the advanced certificate 1, you have to implement at least 54 measures, and if you want to go to advanced certificate 3, at least 86 social responsible measures. If you want to have these certificates in all 4 pillars, but if you want to have it just in one pillar, you can also go through one pillar. But nevertheless, also for one pillar, if you want to have the certificate 1, you have to have 27 measures at least. So this is the concept that the companies are really working in concrete measures how to improve their sustainable business toward employees, toward society, toward environment. And of course, you will talk also about the role of different stakeholders in this inside the society, and the role of the top management is very important. And so the basic, so this is obligatory measures are written commitment of the management to social responsibility, and of course social responsible reporting. So each company has to make the social responsibility report, sustainable report, in which they report how their sustainable business is, what their business is doing in the field of CSR, and also identification of stakeholders, interested parties, and I assume you also will talk, or you already talked about this. It's very important that companies know which are the stakeholders and how to work and how to engage them, not just to know who they are, but how to involve them in their business practices. So, and there are also the basic and mandatory measures from the field of safety and health work, at least two, and field intergenerational cooperation and work-life balance, and yes, and mandatory supportive activities are also important. So communicating with employees, communicating with external public, it's very important. Training of managers in the certification areas, that we are all on the same line, that we all know what these measures are, what are our purpose, what is our strategy in the field of CSR. You know, from the line managers to top management. And of course, management review, every year management review, that top management is in line and it knows what is happening inside the company with this certificate, with these measures, with the strategy, how the plans are going in the field of CSR and so on. So we try to somehow implement this ISO 26000. This is the concept of ISO 26000 standard of corporate social responsibility also in our certificate. And we also try to we are also covering all the important fields inside ISO 26000 from the environment, fair operating practices, consumer issues, community involvement and development, labor practices, human rights, and of course organizational governance, which is in the center. But and it's important to emphasize this, that all these 7 areas are interconnected. Okay, so this is from my side, and maybe just to finish here, it's important that we really have this holistic approach and see the independence on the all levels, from the macro level is the state or the world or level, to meso level where is company, in micro level where is individual. In our certificate is somewhere here between company and individual, but also goes to the macro level. It's important that companies that the company is aware about its role in the society and what impact it has. And there are some bigger impacts and there are no impacts at all in some levels, but the company has to know what is their positive and negative impact on environment and society. That's why it could, how to say, adjust its sustainable business model, that there is more and more positive impact and less negative impact. And it's fine that this that these measures are as concrete as possible, and that they can measure the measures with indicators to see where they are going. Okay, so this is from my side. Thank you, and sorry, I'm a little bit long. I can talk at least 1 or 2 hours more, but okay, I will stop here.
Don't worry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kranjc Kušlan. This was a very interesting input from your side. I think we don't have any questions at the moment from the chat, so just to keep our time frame in mind, I think we can proceed with our next input. So I'm very happy to welcome our next speaker, who is Mr. Narendra Singh, who is a researcher at the University of Ljubljana, the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, Department of Modeling and Technology and Medicine. He finished his master's in Austria in the field of mechatronics, where he studied electric vehicles, sustainability and renewable sources of energy. Currently, he is researching the modeling of soft tissues by considering the effect of age for precise evaluation of impact injuries. And today he will tell us more about sustainability in global entrepreneurship. Mr. Singh, the floor is yours now.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for this nice introduction. So without wasting much time, I would like to start my presentation. So
due to our change of plans, our next speaker is now Ms. Andreja Hlišč. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Please, you can say it again, just to make sure that it's correct in the end. Okay, so our next speaker is the director of the Electronic and Electrical Industry Association at the Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Slovenia. In her job, she focuses on areas such as Industry 4.0, sustainability and smart factories, where she helps companies with transitioning and HR development for factories for the future. She's also the coordinator for Smart Factories Cluster, which is part of the Strategic Research and Innovation Partnership Factories of the Future. Today, she's going to tell us more about the ways in which companies can inventory all waste in order to use it efficiently in other industry for different materials and products, therefore promoting a circular economy and sustainability. Andreja, the stage is yours now.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much to Mr. Singh to let me jump in. I'm very glad and happy that you invited me, so thank you very much. I will try to share my screen now, and let's see if this works the way we want it to. All right, I hope everything works, and if not, please do let me know.
No, sorry, we can still see your PowerPoint window and not the presentation mode.
Okay, why not? Stop share, I'll try again. Okay, how about now?
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you so much for letting me know. Okay, so I'll start my presentation now. So hello everybody, it's nice to meet you. My name is Andreja Hlišč, and I do realize my last name is very hard to pronounce even in my country, so no problem about that. The organizers asked me to present a project that we are the lead partner of, and it's also very much in line with your topics, so competences in the field of green transition. First, I would like to present the project, and then maybe we can talk a little bit more about the competences that are needed from all the stakeholders that are incorporated in this project. So I would like to encourage you, if you have any questions during my presentation, you can write it in the chat. Or later, maybe in the end, you can ask, and maybe we can have a small debate on what the kind of competences are needed for this green transition. Okay, so this project is dealing with circular industry and the application of circular economy principles and in industry processes. So it's very much a niche kind of field where we want to apply the circular economy principles. So the project is financed from the Norwegian financial mechanism, and The program is called Climate Change Mitigation with the desired outcome, increased application of circular economy principles. The project is financed from the Norwegian Environmental Agency, and our national focal point in Slovenia, it's the Government Office for Development and European Cohesion Policy. I'm not sure why it's not. All right, for the project partners. So these are our project partners. It's we are the lead partner, the Electrical Engineering Association at the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Slovenia. And we have, we are 4 partners altogether. So 3 of us are from Slovenia and 1 is from Norway, which is very exciting to get to work with somebody from Norway on this topic. The Slovenian partners are TEKOS, the Slovenian Tool and Die Development Center. They're from Celje and specialize more on plastics and tools for the industry. And then we have a National Institute of Metals and Technology. They're based in Ljubljana, Slovenia, and they focus, as the name says, on metals. And then we have the IDE cluster. It's a cluster from the south of Norway. They're a so-called green cluster, and their membership is more or less a process industry in the south of Norway. So what is the project actually about, and why did we decide to do that? So Slovenia and also European Union has a lot of strategies, strategic documents, projects on the topic of circular economy. And also several initiative programs, etc. But they're more of like at a strategic level. And when we talk to our members or companies, have learned that companies require some concrete actions, some concrete strategies to actually go on this train of coming to this green transition. And we also found out that there are some specific needs, especially now with the energy crisis, with supply chains that were disrupted due to COVID, and material flows that are actually kind of disrupted due to various outside catastrophes and stuff like that that's been going on the last few years. So European Union also has decided to shorten the supply chains and bring more manufacturing back to Europe. So this is one of the reasons we really have to look at our material flows, so that we have all the materials that we need to produce the stuff we want to produce now in Europe. The aim of the project is actually to improve the eco-efficiency of the Slovenian and also Norwegian ecosystem, especially in the industry part, and also increase awareness about circular economy through innovation. How we want to do it? So the Norwegians were commissioned from the Norwegian government to set up a side stream material database. So they did all the work in the south of Norway with their member companies. And if you think about the flow of materials in a production facility, there are some so-called scraps. So you have some material that is cut, that is shaved off. So there is some materials that in the production line are extra. And this is called a side stream. And we call these materials that are in the side stream materials. And we do not call it garbage or odpadek in Slovene. We call them materials, but secondary materials. And the Norwegians have set up this database, and we were kind of having this idea in this consortium that we should try to do that also in Slovenia. So this kind of database and all the activities that come with that, with awareness raising and with working together with different organizations and companies, actually give us the chance to transition to this circular economy. and promote the usage of these secondary resources. And this is called industrial symbiosis. So when you take some materials from one production line, and then somebody else can use it maybe in another company or in another field totally. Like, for example, you could use some materials that are produced in electrical industry, and maybe somebody else can use it like in plastics or in chemistry or stuff like that. So we want to really try to get these materials flowing, and the companies to be aware that they can actually access these materials. And this is really circular economy as it's at its best. So how we will actually get to these challenges? So first part is to raise awareness and talk to various companies, research organizations, also the general public on why circular economy in industry is needed. So this is our field of focus, so in industry. We will try to establish a database of side stream materials modeled on the Norwegian database. This is called the transfer of knowledge. So they've already done it, so why should we like come up with something brand new? We just want to really learn from them what was their mistakes maybe, or what were they good at, and then just apply it to Slovenia. But we will not really do it like on the whole industry. So we decided to focus on three industries. The first being the metal process industry, that is the Institute for Metals will cover that. Then we have recyclable plastic resources. Our partner from Tekos will cover this industry, and our Chamber of Commerce, or especially the electronics and electrical engineering industry, will cover the electrical industry, of course. The project also, which is really important, has some grants or some vouchers for companies or research organization. How does this work? We are going to give out a tender in like a month or two, and companies or research organizations can actually apply together. And if their suggestion is good, so if they have a good project, we will grant them 15,000 euros, and they can have 6 months time to implement their idea, and we will grant 8 vouchers, so 8 times 15,000 euros. So this is like not really a lot of money, but some kind of motivation for companies or researchers to actually do something in that field. And maybe it would be good enough to then maybe proceed with some kind of activities in that field. So the project very much is focused on the transfer of best practices between Norway and Slovenia. We also visited Norway and see how they did it there, met some people there, and the Norwegians are gonna come to us next month. So we're gonna keep on doing the project and really trying to move things forward. So really trying to promote this joint research and development of new solutions in this field of circular economy. Here are just some print screens of how the Norwegian database is set up actually. So it's very you can see the average numbers. So what kind of materials? So they have like 250 material streams in this database, and there are various there's what kind of materials is it? Is it hazardous or non-hazardous? Is it what kind of energy is related to that? Then we have numbers. How many organizations took part in this project in Norway? And how do they deal with their own secondary materials? So you can see here that internal disposition is quite a little bit lower. You can see here 3.5K. So that means that internal recycling is lower than external deposition. And this is very interesting piece of information for us, or for the Norwegians, to see, okay, maybe we can amplify the internal recycling process, if it's possible. If not, then we can maybe work on external deposition, or sell it, or trade it maybe with another company. So if we have more data, we can really think about what we're going to do with this material. So this is just a couple of examples how this database works, and what you can see then, based on what the companies are willing to share with public. You can also see per company, like for example, this company has such and such materials and in this amount. So it's very concrete, you know. And I think it's very visual also to maybe make us think what we can do with these side stream materials. For this presentation, I also wanted to focus on who are our group targets and who actually works in the field of circular economy. So, as I already mentioned, this field is very specific. It's for industry. But as maybe you know already, the industries have a lot of potential when it comes to circular economy, because they are one of the largest pollutants, and also one of the largest, they have the largest necessity to use materials. So then we can have a table, a mouse, whatever. So I wanted to here maybe emphasize on our target groups and who are the people that work in this field in the companies, for example. So here we have large companies and SMEs. These are our main target group. And I've listed some of the most common fields of professions that we are talking to in the company. So mostly we are talking to people that are in quality control assessment. And for example, if the company is maybe a bit larger, then we have this department for environmental protection. But this is really for large companies. When it comes to SMEs, it's different. Then they have people who do a lot of things at once. So maybe we can talk to the assistant to director, or in smaller companies, actually to the director. And this is very important, that we have to realize who we're talking to. So it depends on the company, actually. But I would say in general, it's usually the ones who do the reporting, because companies are obliged to actually report the side stream materials in their companies to some agency, whether it's in Slovenia, there are two, and in different countries it's different. So, but they always have to do reporting. So we usually talk to the quality control assessment department that are usually doing that. Then we have also other target groups that are also very important. We deal with business support organizations. We are a business support organization, so the Chamber of Commerce. We kind of try to promote, to really bring people together, because we have a wide net of connections, you know. And then we also want to really include the national public authority, so relevant ministries in Slovenia and in Norway, or regional public authorities. This is maybe more of importance in Norway, because Slovenia is so small. We usually have just the national level, not really so the regional. But so this IDA cluster really tries to work in the region in southern Norway. And here, who are we talking to? It's officials, it's the people who work in the ministries. And this can be really a lot of different levels of knowledge, actually, about the circular economy, because sometimes you don't talk to the circular economy expert in the ministry. Sometimes you just talk with a clerk that deals with this data. So there is also some knowledge to be shared here in these groups, I think. We also really want to include also NGOs or other interested groups. Like these are some that we have in Slovenia. So it's a circular change, it's an NGO. Then we have a strategic research and innovation partnership, of circular economy, also from Slovenia. Then we decided to reach out to the European organization, to raw materials, and other stakeholders from Norway, actually. This was when we planned the project, but then something interesting happened. At the conference, I actually met somebody from the field of the arts. So I would like to maybe pause here a little bit and talk to you about this experience, because we just had a meeting last week and it was very interesting. So we kind of started a collaboration with the Academy of Fine Arts and Design. They are from the University of Ljubljana, and it was a funny coincidence. We met at a conference dedicated to materials, and somebody employed there said, "Oh, but one of our students, he just done a diploma for on the field of secondary raw materials," and I found it very interesting. So we invited them for a meeting, and it was correct, actually. Aleš Vidmar from Ljubljana, he had this thesis about making a platform for local materials and secondary materials for actually industry. So it was right on point with what we were doing, and he's done it maybe more of an applicative way, because his idea was to establish application. So it's an app for the phone, and companies or other stakeholders can work with secondary materials, take a photo, log into the database. So very interesting. And I will try to share this video if it's possible, because this is a presentation of how this application would work. So it's a 2-minute video, and I suggest let's try and see. And please do let me know if it's not working.
I think we cannot hear the audio of the video. We can
it has no audio, so this, if as long as you can see, it's fine.
Perfect, we can see it. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is like the flow, you know, how you can do it, how you log in, and what you can see then next. So for the ones who do not speak Slovene, this is like a run through the application, so then you can see what you can click. So here you can choose, or I sell, or I want a material. And then you can add it to like a market. So it's basically like an online marketplace where you can exchange materials. You can sell them, buy them, exchange them. What I found most interesting is that so the student who made this thesis is from the Department of Industrial Design, but he really like got into that and really made an application that is like you can just go for it. It's very well thought through. He thought about all the stakeholders that would be involved, and also came up with a business plan, how this could work. So I think this is very important and very interesting. Okay, so this is just maybe like a quick run through. Okay, and this is the end of the video. So why did I really wanted to talk about this? is because it was a collaboration that we did not foresee when we applied for the project, but it is a very interesting idea to really collaborate with different stakeholders that have different ideas. And what we have gained from this meeting, from this presentation, is that for people in arts, it would be very important for us, for our database, to use photos of the materials, because they are different than maybe someone from research that is used to imagine what is some kind of a material. Like, we have so many materials, maybe the average person does not know everything, you know. So some visuals of the specific materials would help the ones who are in the arts department to visualize what they can do with it. And they will also worked on a project where they used some kind of leftover materials from productions and made like stools or like tables and something really industrial, like in field of industrial design. And it would be really good for them to try to imagine what these materials would look like. So we will run with this idea and integrate some photos of the materials in our database. So it was a very fruitful collaboration, and maybe we will also start a project together with this application for the phone. So we'll see. For now, we're trying to make a database online, but also on the computer. But maybe step 2 is application for the phone. Okay, moving on. So here also some target groups are higher education and research. We have two partners that are already in this field, but we want to also engage other private or public organizations that are engaged in this research, because the possibilities are very wide, and we can also think about competence centers, other faculties, and students, professors, stuff like that. So let's not forget the general public. So we decided to do like a small survey, maybe a little bit further on in the project, on the importance of using these secondary or new materials, raw materials in production. But it is a very specific like field. So I think generally people don't really think about secondary materials in production facilities, you know. So it's going to be an interesting task for us to try to measure like what the general public thinks of this. But I think now we are very aware that the green transition is necessary, and that this is necessary in all the fields, especially in the industry. So maybe it's a chance for us to raise awareness also on this topic to the general public. And the general public is actually all of us. So I think the green transition is very important for everybody. When preparing this presentation, and this is kind of moving towards the end of my presentation, I was really thinking about what kind of competences and skills we would need, and you're also dealing with this in the field of your project. And I would say it's very broad because it depends on who you talk to. So these are various peoples in different industries, and it is very, very diverse. And I would say the most important thing is actually the general awareness that the green transition is important not only in our homes when we recycle, but in all fields of every industry. So I would really like to maybe hear comments on that one. So I will stop speaking now and maybe give floor to any questions or comments on this at this point. So what do you think? What kind of competences are needed in this green transition?
I agree with you with the general awareness. I think it's very, very important that as many people as that we should reach as many people as we could.
What about I don't know how far you've gotten in your project, but do you agree with me that, for example, in companies, it's such a wide field of knowledge that you can incorporate it in every kind of position in the company? So, as I said already, we're mostly in larger companies. We deal with environmental departments or the departments that are strategically in the scheme of the company are more deal with the reporting part. But there, I think I don't know if the people who are there have the skills and competences to look at the green transition and circular economy in a very broad way. So this, for me, it's very interesting. Okay, I got here that you would like me to finish, so I would like to thank you very much for your time. And you can follow us on LinkedIn and also on our webpage, and contact me directly if you have any further questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. So because we're a little bit short on time already, I will just skip the question section now. You can still write your questions in the chat. If we have time at the end, we can still get to them. So I would once again like to give the floor to Mr. Singh, who is a researcher at the University of Ljubljana at the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering. So it's now your stage with the input about sustainability and global entrepreneurship.
Thank you for the introduction. I would just like to know, like, if you can listen to me once I start my screen. Can you please comment on that?
Yes.
Sure, we can.
Okay, so I'm sharing entire screen, screen 2, share system audio.
Now we can not hear you at the moment.
So this is the problem. When I start sharing my screen, my audio automatically mutes.
I think it mutes automatically because before you tried to share the sound of the video. So
yes.
Because when the sound of your desktop, of your computer is shared, so we can hear the video, we cannot hear your microphone and vice versa. So it's just a setting that you choose when you click on share your screen.
Okay, let me try again. So I think now you can listen to me.
Yes, we can.
And when I have to share the videos, I will change the setting again, probably.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let's get started. So my name is Narendra and I'm working as a young researcher at Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, University of Ljubljana, as already introduced. And we have a little bit less time, so I will not take your much time, but I was also studying a lot of courses and I realized that students are really not enjoying when there are big boring presentations. So I put at least 3 videos inside my presentation, and I hope people will enjoy it and learn from my presentations today. So I would like to take you back like 400 or 500 years ago, where everything was in peace. Everything was perfectly in harmony with nature. The human and nature, they were like in love with each other. And we were still discovering the laws of universe, the laws of motions like Newton, Galileo Galilei, and this kind of people were still trying to understand the principles of nature. But later on, the era came, or one person came in between human and nature, and that was capitalistic technology. Technology that supports capitalism, technology that supports money to some limited amount of people. So this kind of technology came in between human and nature, and then it changed our dynamics completely. So we were like, the French Revolution started in Europe, and then it spread also everywhere, from France to everywhere in Europe, and then it went to America. So, and then Ford started its mass production of automotive vehicles for the first time in the history. And that's how we started consuming our resources very badly, like gasoline and diesel. We were consuming them very badly. And then, you know, the efficiency of a gasoline engine is from 20 to 40%. And for a diesel engine is 66% or sometimes even less. So we are using these limited resources like gasoline and diesel, and these cars were not so efficient. And then we were releasing this carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, these kind of gases in atmosphere. And because of that, temperature of the earth, average temperature of the earth started rising above the average, and glaciers started melting. So we were doing some technical stuff in Europe, in America, in Asia, but some guys poles apart from us, those people live on poles. Those guys live on poles, like this polar bear you can see, he was not so happy with what we were doing in the past. And we all realized that, okay, what we are doing is not sustainable. What we are doing will lead us to we will finish with all our resources. And at the end, we have to go back to the same era where we started. This technology is not sustainable. And then only we started talking about sustainability. So the word sustainability means ability to sustain. But what we want to sustain actually, we want to sustain this relationship that we had in the past with our nature, where we were not exploiting it. We understood the law of nature, but we started exploiting that with the capitalistic thinking and mindset. And as in the previous presentation, Mr. Aleš said that this distribution of money is not uniform. This is only to limited people. And you'll be so surprised, like in India, it's the biggest, most populated country in the world, and 50% of its money is held by 1% of its population. So this is like not so uniform distribution of money or energy. And that's why it's like we see this, the approach is not sustainable. So I would like to go further and say a sustainable business is a business where it has minimal or zero impact on global or local environment. So here I would like to present a chart. So when we want to have a zero impact or minimal impact on our environment, then these are the steps. This is rated from most favorable to the least favorable options that we have. So first thing is prevention. We do not want to use anything. We just preserve the natural resources. But this is not really that logical. We have to use them to get some energy. So the second option is minimization. So today, I will mostly focus on minimization, how we can minimize the natural resources and how we can minimize the waste. Because when we have to make any product, we need resources, and once the product is done, then we have some wastage. And so if we can minimize these two things, I think we can move towards a sustainable future. This is my opinion. So we all know about electric vehicles. So like in the past, we blamed a lot this automotive industry that they are polluting the environment, but now they have solution. They came up with the idea of electric vehicles, with hydrogen vehicles. So now I think we should stop blaming them as much, but we should focus on some other sectors like agriculture sector, food sector, because still a lot more needs to be done in these areas. So today I will gonna present you 4 case studies. So first case study is about minimization of resources, and 3 case studies about minimization of waste. I will give you some real life examples, how they are doing it, and I will show you some interesting videos, and I hope you will enjoy it. So let's start with the first case where I will talk about minimization of resources. So I hope you people know about millets. They are grains like wheat or rice, but why I want to talk about them today, because I want to address this agriculture problem, how we are consuming so much of natural resources in our farming and in agriculture industry. So United Nations declared 2023 as International Year of Millets. Why this happened? Because of the Russia and Ukraine war, and we have shortage of wheats, and the United Nations along with the government of India, they are trying to find it out, like what are the alternatives which are healthier, eco-friendly, and sustainable crops or grains that we can implement and promote to our society for its benefit. So millets, they require less water than rice and wheat. So I would like to show a picture of a rice farm. Here you can see like how much water we need. It's all filled up with water. So I was reading an article and I read like millets required 70% less water, 70% less water than rice. And now let's talk about their nutrition values. So they are rich in vitamins, minerals, and they have low glycemic index. So glycemic index is all about the ratio of carbohydrates to fiber, how much energy they will release in our blood to rise its level, its level for the diabetes measurement. So, and millets are gluten free. So they are requiring less water, they are gluten free, and they have more mineral content. This I will even show you later. So I think this is an alternative approach that we should all move towards for our sustainable farming. And Europe presents around 3% of the world market. I think 40 to 50% is by Africa, and then comes Asia, 30 to 40%, and Europe has only 3% of market, mostly coming from Ukraine also. But in Europe, people are using millet from 3005 years ago. So this is our staple food. We are using these millets before wheat and rice. And I think today in this war era, it's an ideal solution if country wants to become self-sufficient, because these grains require less water, we don't need any fertile soil, and they need minimal input. They are resistant to diseases and pests, so we need very less fertilizers and pesticides, and they are more resistant to climate change. Like I was reading one article and it says like the millets can sustain up to 46 degrees of Celsius, like they are even can be grown in desert, like in India or in Sahara. So, and they can grow at high and low altitudes across the globe and in even very non-irrigated conditions. So what I want to convey today on this webinar, that I think we should all move towards a sustainable future where we need less water, less resources from our nature, and at the same time we can get more nutrition values to our health system. And here there is a comparison between the millets and the wheat and paddy rice. So this is I took this picture from Dr. Khadarwali. He's a scientist, a leading scientist in this field of millets from India, and he classified the grains in 3 categories: positive, neutral, and negative. And the main reason of this classification is this: if you take a look at carbohydrates and fiber, and this is their ratio. So this ratio is mostly related with glycemic index. So here we see that this ratio is 7:6:7:6:5, something like that. But when we see in wheat and paddy rice, this ratio goes to 6:3:3 to 395. So we see a drastic changes. So when we eat rice and wheat, the blood sugar level goes very high, and this is not good for our health. And they're consuming so much of water. And in terms of other minerals, we can see like whether it's protein, so they are a high source of protein, and like other minerals are also as good as wheat or rice, or maybe better than them, but they are consuming 70% less water, and we need less pesticides, we need less fertilizers to use them. So I would like to, on this stage, I would like to promote these millets, that we should use this for a sustainable farming, so we can reduce the exploitation of nature by minimize the use of water. So what can we do? Promoting millets in Slovenia and Europe. So as I already said, that this is the International Year of Millets. So it's a good time. So it's also, we can promote in Slovenia and Europe. We can create awareness among farmers that we need less water, and they are more healthier options. And we can encouraging new startups in this area. We can import these millets from Asia, from India, so that we can grow these millets, which are not so well known in Slovenia. or in Europe. Like here in Slovenia, people are usually eating two millets, buckwheat and proso millets. They called it Aido kasha and prosena kasha. But there are many more millets that still we can explore and grow them here. And we can conduct more scientific research on their nutrition value. And if you need any further discussion about this, I'm more than happy to give you this idea and or about this business. So you can contact me on this number, on this email address. So this is my first case study where I talk how we can minimize the resources by choosing an healthier alternative option and more sustainable option in our food. So I think when people talk about sustainability, they are talking about sustainable business, but I think most important thing is we have sustainable lifestyle. And I think if we make millets a part of our lifestyle, our lifestyle will be more sustainable and more healthy. Now I will go to the next case study where I would like to talk about minimization of waste. And this is a startup called Scrap Shala. So scrap means, you all know scrap, and shala means school. In Slovenian language, shola means school. So they both, these words come from Sanskrit language, shala. And this startup started in 2016, and they want to solve this problem of so much of waste that is spread across the India in landfills. And they want to use this scrap to make some artistic products out of it. So they use this scrap and they are promoting this creativity through this waste, and they are giving space to Indian handicraft industry for a sustainable approach. So now I would like to show you their website so you can see these products. And then I will also, as I promised, I will show you videos, one documentary about them, a 2-minute short video. So I need to stop sharing once. And again, I will start sharing screen.
मेरे पति कुर्सी बुनते थे और फोल्डिंग बुनते थे। जब वो गुजर गए, उनके गुजरने के बाद मैं बाहर काम करने लगे, झाड़ू पोछा बर्तन ये काम करते थे।
Scrapshala was started with a vision to repurpose people's unused junk into something of utility, decor and gifting. Since all the products are handcrafted, we could give opportunity to skilled, underprivileged artisans to bring their skills back into practice.
We started going to various busy spots in city to get visibility, but that didn't give us exposure which was needed for our brand to grow.
We started our Facebook page in 2016, 2 months after we started with this idea, and it was wonderful. Like, you know, we could do multiple things with our pictures, with the content we created, and reach out to our friends and people we knew all over the world. So it helped us reach a lot of strangers also, who became our initial customers and connected us to a lot of people over the world.
Far parts of India like Bangalore and all, people started giving us messages, sending us messages, giving us queries to get products. Publishing houses or journalists started covering us in their stories, in their magazines. So we achieved it because of Facebook only.
शेखा दीदी ने कहा कि मेरे वहाँ काम करोगी। मैंने कहा क्या काम है? तो कहा कि ये कुर्सी बनाई है, मेरे वहाँ बराबर काम आता है। मैंने कहा हाँ करेंगे। तो घर पे अपना बैठ के काम करते हैं। बराबर दीदी काम देती है मुझे।
Now we have moved to a big workshop. We have more than 20 artisans working with us, and I think we have upcycled more than 40,000 kilos of non-biodegradable waste into products of utility.
कि किसी के मतलब अधीन तो नहीं हुए कि हम किसी के सहारे हैं कि हमें कोई 10 रुपया दे दे, 5 रुपया दे दे। अब हिसाब लेने वाला कोई नहीं है, हम दे देते लेते नहीं है।
So now I would like to move for the second idea. This is also minimization of minimization of waste. So like we all have this bio or organic waste, and we throw it to the plastic bags or biodegradable bags, and then we take it to this bigger bins, this yellow or brown bins or green bins that we have, and then somebody comes and pick them on a regular basis, and then this waste goes to recycling, and then finally they maybe use it for some kind of manure, for some kind of compost. But because it's mixed with plastic sometimes and it start smelling so bad, it's sometimes it's not even usable. So this is another interesting case study where what if we completely avoid these steps? We don't need these bio bins anymore, and we don't need these people who are taking this away and then recycling it. What if we can do at home from this bio, we can directly make compost, which is very useful for our nature, and we can either sell it or we can either put it in the nearby trees or in the garden or park where we go nearby. So with this idea, I would like to start my second case study, Daily Dumps. This is another startup from India. So people never considered composting as an alternative waste management process, because we all know that, okay, from the childhood that these people are coming to pick it up and they will take it away. But I think it's still possible. So this startup designed this kind of compostable bins where you can put your biodegradable stuff here, and you have to then on the top of it you have to spread some microorganics. On the top of it there is a powder form of this, and then it will slowly convert into a compost, and we can directly use it at home. So we can avoid a big process. We are minimizing the waste, and by minimizing the waste we can contributing towards the sustainable future. So these products are easy to use, fit into Indian way of living, easy to maintain, made of simple materials like clay. Here you can see it's a clay and also plastic, and use appropriate technology. Like there are no any high-tech technologies are there, just they have very basic fundamental technology which can convert bio-organic waste into compost directly. And here I would like to show you another video. It's a case study. It's a little documentary, 6 minutes documentary. So I need to again stop sharing.
%60 of our Indian dustbins are organic. When we mix it up with battery and plastic and paper, it becomes poison. And I was thinking, why are we spending taxpayers' money picking up poison, transporting poison and dumping poison, and at the point of the landfill, we are creating more poison? And I said, this is not effective. Just imagine if all our homes and all our offices actually composted at site, we would have 60% of that waste not going out into the public system at all. My name is Poonambir Kasturi and I run this company called Daily Dump. Daily Dump helps people compost their waste at source. In 2005, when I actually got this idea, nobody wanted to keep waste in their homes. You'll find that the dustbins are also kept behind the house. So part of our solution is also how do we shift that mindset? And it's no longer, I have to hide it away at the back. I can bring something up in front and show that I'm, proudly contributing to the problem. We created a product that was very simple, easily replicable, and used local manufacturing. And then we went to different forums and built the message that this was the idea of the future.
Once we got the Gobble Max delivered, we had it positioned outside our house so that other neighbors could also maybe see it. They were very curious about what we were doing, and they themselves started participating in it. Now, in our neighborhood, out of 15 families, 10 are actually composting their wet trash, which is pretty cool.
We are not doing this because we want to make money out of it. If we make money out of it, it helps because it subsidizes our costs. And if somebody can use it more effectively, either on, in pots or in farmland, that makes more sense.
So when the first round of compost was ready, I think I was so excited that I actually managed to pull it off. I remember taking a picture of it and putting it up on Instagram. We always advise our clients to do the responsible thing, to do the sustainable thing. Somehow we managed to not connect those dots within our own house. So to connect the dot between the kitchen and the balcony garden was a no-brainer. It was a simple thing to do.
Composting is a movement. People have understood the sustainability, and again it's their own responsibility. And without compost, you cannot expect a good garden. At the same time, people understood they should not throw the waste outside.
People would say, what difference will individual action make? But more and more evidence was building up in the world around 2005, saying that unless everybody got involved, we wouldn't be able to change or address climate change.
So Indian cities right now are growing very dense and they're growing vertically. And right now it's very important that we go away from the centralized system of managing waste to decentralizing it, that each and every community now manages their waste and composts it, so that none of that waste then goes out of the place and you're saving so much carbon footprint and greenhouse gas emission by doing that.
Compost is a very critical part of climate change mitigation because it helps people understand that they're closing the loop, making circular flows, and also putting compost back into soil captures carbon into soil.
So we've got approximately around 65 to 70 partners across the country. When I say partners, I mean people who have been passionate about composting, about spreading the message, who are talking to their friends, families, and spreading the message of composting and even just telling them how easy it is. So we started working with partners who who don't really have a business but stay at home and have a little bit of free time and resell our products. So that's one kind of partnerships that we indulge in, and then there's also the retail or outlet partnership, which is we've actually got stores that are already eco-conscious, that are already selling green products that also stock our products.
So from the Kamba, Daily Dump now has a whole lot of other products which cater to different segments, and it has constantly evolved. So different needs, different people, how it can be used, what are the different types of activities which need to be done, what are ways in which it can actually be used. She's used design to constantly evolve the product.
हमारा नाम के रामकृष्ण है, मट्टी का काम करने वाला मैं पहले छोटा छोटा बीज बना रहे, उसमें कुछ भी फायदा नहीं हमारे का, फिर वही ऐसा चल रहा है, कुछ काम नहीं, पैसा भी बराबर नहीं मिल रहा है, बच्चे स्कूल भेजने भी नहीं चल रहा है हमारे का। हमारा पूनम मैडम बहुत अच्छा होना, वो बेंगलुरु से चेन्नई जा रहा है रास्ता में, मैं रोड बाजू में माल रखूँ बैठे उधर धंधा करने का, फिर वो अम्मा बोले मैं ऑर्डर देगा बनाएगा, हाँ ठीक है मैं बनाते हैं, वो ऑर्डर दिए, पहले छोटा पीस कम्बा बना को दिए, ऐसा ऐसा नया नया मॉडल चेंज हो गया, अभी चेंज हो गए, धंधा भी अच्छा चल रहा है, हमारे पास में 20 आदमी काम कर रहे हैं, उसके भी अच्छे चल रहे हैं, नाम भी अच्छा कमा रहे हैं, मैडम बहुत अच्छा हेल्प कर रहे हैं हमारे।
Today, our customers, by individual action, by collective action, they're able to keep 60 tons of organic waste out of landfill every day. This collectively saves 7 tons of carbon dioxide emissions from transportation and landfill methane creation.
So this was another case study that motivates us that we don't need that much money or technology to be sustainable. If we really care about our nature and if we want to make a change, it's possible without a big support of money and technology. All we need is a courage and determination to have a sustainable lifestyle and love for the nature. And now I give you 2 case studies from India, which were using some basic ideas, not a great ideas and or not a great technology. But now I would like to move towards artificial intelligence. Some examples with artificial, just last example about the artificial intelligence and how we can use waste management through artificial intelligence. So AI is very trending topic nowadays. So I thought I should give one example from it. So there is a company, a Polish company, that are making smart bins. They automatically distribute, automatically sort the bins. Like you put the garbage at one place and it will automatically separate it, like whether it's a metal or a plastic or organic or paper, it will separate them automatically by its artificial intelligence data. So this company is named BinE, and they are having the sensors, images, and artificial intelligence to recognize this what kind of waste it is, and then they just put it on the right space in this in this smart bin, and then they also compress it so that we can have more space for the further waste. And when the garbage is full, they automatically send a message, a notification to the company who owns this, that this must be replaced now because it's full. So here also I have another video that will quickly explain you what it is. So again, I need to
Beanie is an AI-based smart waste management system designed for any smart and safe work and public places. It combines the most advanced technology to simplify recycling needs and create a data-driven waste management infrastructure. Automatic opening flap. In this extraordinary situation, when the whole world needs to meet new hygiene requirements, we have got your back. Please meet the new Beanie, a hands-free and non-contact option featuring an automatically opening flap. With the newest industry technology, the device opens automatically when you approach it. This makes using our smart waste bin even easier. Keep your workplace safe with Beanie. Automatic waste segregation. Have you ever stood struggling in front of multiple recycling bins, wondering which one you should choose? With Beanie, you won't have to struggle anymore. Beanie is a fully integrated and realized AI device that recognizes the type of waste automatically. It is 3 times more efficient than any human. You just put the waste inside, the device identifies it, and sorts it into the right fraction. Beanie keeps that process really simple, making its use accessible for all employees. Application. Are you seeking an integrated system to control your waste management policy? At Beanie, we offer you an app that lets you control the device remotely, straight from your phone or tablet. It provides access to real-time data, including technical diagnostics, fill and full level control, alongside advanced usage reports. Beanie allows you to optimize your business's waste management processes within the building and ensures that you spend only as much resources on it as necessary. Let us help you with all your waste management processes with Beanie. Customization. Beanie can be tailored to your needs and brand standards. Choose your color and company's logo with bespoke designed graphics, which provide brand solutions for any workplace. You can select the colors of bins that are inside of the device, the super silent version, hands-free version, or adjust the fraction according to your recycling regulations or specific work conditions. Create a zero-waste office with your individually designed beanie. Fill level control. Are you looking for a better system which not only optimizes the maintenance of waste, but provides a fully automated segregation of items? Beanie compresses your waste and monitors the fill and full level of the devices. This reduces the frequency of emptying the bins and ensuring optimized time management for your business, because your staff will never need to physically check whether the bin is full ever again. Beanie offers you a way to create an efficient, data-driven waste management process, which will save you time, effort, and money.
So yeah, that's basically it from my side. Thank you. And if you have any questions, you can ask me on my email address, or if you have time, you can ask me now, but I think we are running late.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I think it was extremely interesting. Maybe you can also share the links of the YouTube videos with me, then I can put it later on the website as well. So thank you so much.
Sure.
Please, everyone, don't go yet. We have one more thing planned for you. Nothing that will take too much of your time, just a little bit of a feedback exercise. So my colleague, she already posted the link for the Google form. Please feel free to do that in your own time. But just to finish a little bit off with a nice on a nice note, please go to our feedback tool with the Mentimeter. You can now click on the link. I hope my colleague will post it in the chat in a second, or you can just scan the QR code here. I hope you can see my screen now. We'll just give you a few moments just to type it in and see what your takeaway of today's webinar is. Just few moments. I think we had some great presentations today. I personally learned a lot, and I would like to thank all of our keynote speakers today for their presentations. Yes, we're running a little bit late, but still, I'm really happy for the quality of all your inputs. And yeah, I think it was a really great webinar. Okay, I will now switch to the Menti and see if you have any answers already, and actually we have. Just go into presentation mode. Yes, now we can see nicely all your answers. So we think that we had incredible projects that were presented today, that were very interesting, good examples. An important point was the sharing of resources. It was very clear for you, you learned a lot, good and interesting. Oh, I like the keyword hope. So the presentations gave you hope. Social responsibility is a big issue. Also the National Earth Overshoot that we learned about today. Insights about the silver economy, that corporate social responsibility means taking action. Let's see. Oh, I'm really happy that there are so many inputs. Global risks is a great point. Solidarity, creativity, that we should stand up for Earth. Yeah, sharing of resources is here twice. Waste management, zero waste movement, global action. Let's see, resources minimalization. Yeah, sorry if I'm looking on my second screen, but here are all the answers. Very good. Thank you so much for sharing your takeaways of today. I'll just very briefly show you again my slide where you can go also to the Google form directly using this QR code. And yeah, last but not least, thank you all for your participation today. And I hope to see you again next week for our third module. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you very much.